supports in place, and these range of supports will give our enterprises the best opportunity to maintain their businesses during this very difficult trading period. I welcome the additional double payments that were made over the Christmas and New Year period in recognition of the additional financial impact on those businesses where Christmas would have normally been a particularly busy trading period. The demand for the scheme shows the importance of the role of the government during this time, Minister. And as we head into an extended timeline of Level 5 restrictions, I feel that it is critical for the government to continue to play a leading role in providing supports for our businesses. While such a scheme is extremely costly, businesses need to have the certainty that they will continue to be supported however long this pandemic may last. The employment wage subsidy scheme is critical to ensure the employers and employee relationship is maintained when businesses can reopen, that they can reopen quickly. The CRIS scheme will help businesses to get through Level 5 and will ensure employees have jobs to go back to, that businesses are maintained and livelihoods can thrive once again. Small businesses are the lifeblood of towns and villages. If these businesses were to shut down permanently, it would have a very adverse impact on our towns and our rural settings and the very fabric of rural society across the country. I would ask the Minister to examine the case of premises that have seen their trade of business impacted because of a reduction in customer demand because of COVID-19, such as travel agents. While the indirect nature of the reduction in business activity is recognised, the level of restrictions on movements and now the restrictions on international travel would make a strong case for this area to be re-examined, in my opinion. A lot of people would have woken up this morning after being faced with the news of continued lockdown until March the 5th, Minister. It is not the situation that many of us thought we would be in prior to Christmas. While these times may be incredibly difficult, this is not the time to lose hope. We can and we should get through this. While some of these schemes may seem like figures on a page, the businesses that they will help to support are not. And I urge you, Minister, to continue to support businesses which are the backbone of this economy. Many family-run businesses will unfortunately not survive this pandemic, and Ceann Comhairle, it is a sad reality that the Minister's Department will have to deal with when deciding on how to allocate financial supports. But above all else, I'd be very, very sincere in the point that we must be highly cognizant of the fact that if we allow too many businesses in rural communities, like constituencies in Cork East, where I'm from, and allow our main streets to die because of this pandemic, it will do irreversible damage to our economy and to our society and to the well-being of people in rural Ireland. And I have to be very, very strong and sincere on that fact. I've been working with a lot of local businesses. It's been an enormous privilege to get a chance to work alongside members of our local business community since I became a public representative. And particularly during the pandemic, it's quite easy to see that there is a lot of difficulty that they're continuing to go through, particularly those companies that were doing financial restructuring, unfortunately, just prior to the pandemic taking place and happening. And they found it quite difficult to access supports like the CRIS scheme. So, Minister, I would ask that maybe a continued and renewed focus from your department would be put into that. I do wish you well. I think the state has responded with urgency to some of the matters that we've been faced with. For example, we've responded with the largest budget in the country's history. So our opposition can't be entirely critical of the government's action and indeed your own action. But I would continue to ask you to engage with local and small businesses, and please bear in mind that we cannot afford to shut down main streets across our country. I just think it's incredibly difficult for those businesses to ever come back, and they will face massive financial uncertainty and difficulty, and I think it's important that we support them in every way we possibly can. Gormíle maith agat.